but I need you to hold my hands because I quit twice and I can't quit again. I just can't. I cannot afford to quit again.
Because you know now that it could be any one of these calls could be another $30,000 win. It could be this next one I'm about to pick up the phone and call because you saw it happen. Dewey, it's exciting to be here on this recording with you and to hear about your journey, your story. I was reading a little bit before bringing you on here about kind of your overview. And it sounds like you kind of got started, then got discouraged and left, and then maybe came back and got discouraged a little bit, which is very normal. That's part of the journey. Sometimes we get into real estate with these high expectations and then we fall on our face. It doesn't turn out how we hoped or wanted or thought. And sometimes it takes a little bit of like coming back to it, like maybe leaving, coming back. Tell us a little bit about your journey. What was that like for you getting started, getting discouraged, leaving, coming back? And then we're going to dive into how you had really tremendous success.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jerry, for having me on here. My name is Dewey Nugent. Long story short, I have discovered wholesaling back in maybe early 2018. At the time, I thought, there's no way. This cannot be real. Because, what everyone just making it seem like it's so simple. You make a contact with a homeowner, cool. You get at the price and you find an end buyer who will take it over for a higher price. And I just kind of put it on a back end. And
how could it be that easy? How could it be that easy? Yeah.
It didn't seem real. And at the time I knew what real estate was. And all I thought was just being a real estate agent. You list a house and you potentially get a buyer. But fast forward to 2019, where I was like, you know what? I just left college. Things didn't work out. Let me dive into wholesaling. Let me study a couple individuals. Long story short, it took me about 6 months to kind of like watch calls and just overthinking the whole process. And fast forward to 2020, August 2020, that's when I committed to it. I grabbed a tax delinquent list from the county. Mm-hmm. Have a few $1,000s saved up, and I was afraid to cold call at the time. So I just sent out mailers. Long story short, spent thousands of dollars in stamps and didn't get a deal. And I just told myself, okay, this is impossible. I cannot get a deal. So I just quit. 3 months in, told myself I was not worthy of doing this. And then fast forward to 2021, around August, around my birthday again, I was like, let me give this another shot. But this time, this is when I picked up the phone and, calling people left and right. We went on appointments and couldn't figure out how to run phone numbers and ARVs, things like that. Then had a few contracts signed, but could not sell it because I just didn't know how to run numbers. Quit again. I was like, yeah, this is not meant for me. I just can't seem to figure it out. And I don't know what happened back. And then 2022, this is where it changed for me. I discovered my broker who I'm with right now. He posted a YouTube video of him doing a regular flip here in the Pittsburgh area. And I was like, let me reach out to him and tell him what I got going on and just see if he can help. He told me, cool, go get your license, and but you have to put in the work. And I just kind of brushed off putting in the work part. I just went and got my license thinking I'm doing something in real estate. I just tell my parents, like, look, I'm getting my license, so things are working out.
Get off my back, yeah.
Yeah, and then I finally joined his team. And around November of 2022, been cold calling ever since, about $200 to $250 per day, Monday to Friday. And I wanted to quit again. 3 months in. Like, why things are not working out? He just told me, look, just stay focused. Go back into the old data, pull all that data back, put it in your system, and call them again, recycle them again. And and I finally made a contact with this guy who I spoke to back in 2020 about this house.
So this, and you were because you were following up on an old list.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought it was not good anymore because I couldn't get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
And I just put it on a Google Sheets and just kept it tucked away. And he told me, get everything that you got from all those previous years and put it in the system and recycle it. So I recycled it. I spoke to this guy in 2020. He told me he was fixing it up. Great. Okay. And I remember talking to him in 2021, the same situation. I'm still fixing it up. And long story short, I called him in maybe April or May of 2023. I was like, hey, this is Dewey again from 2020. Like, no, I don't know you. Plus, I don't have a normal name for people just to like remember. And I was like, hey, what are your plans? He's like, I really want to sell it. And I was like, great. What can you tell me about? He told me bad tenant, was doing a lot of bad things to it. I was like, sounds great. Like, do you have a number in mind? He told, maybe 100. And at the time, I didn't think it was a home run deal at 100.
Yeah.
So I just went to my broker. It's like, hey, I got this potential lead there. And he told me it's on this street. He told me he was looking for 100. And at the time, my broker didn't really show me any excitement. He just kept calm. But I know he knew it was a great deal at 100. Like, just relax, get me in there. So I scheduled an appointment. Me and him walked through it with a guy, built some rapport. 15 minutes, we left. He called me in a car saying it's a home run deal, even at 100. We waited 48 hours after the first walkthrough just to not show any excitement. Like, hey, I'm willing to offer you about like 80 grand. And the house is probably worth 425.
Mm-hmm. And why'd you go 80? Just
because that's how my broker is. He like to come in. Yeah. He's like room to, just to negotiate.
Yeah.
So he came in at 80 and the guy got excited, like, wow, 80 grand. I'm really excited about this. And he told him, well, are you willing to sign right now? And he was like, you know what? I actually got another appointment with someone else coming to see this property. And I was like, no way. No way. I thought I lost it. My broker was like, just relax. He don't have anybody. It's just his way of just trying to get us to jump.
He's called his bluff.
Yeah. He told us, give me a week. And I was like, that whole week I told, I lost this deal. And long story short, we're calling him back the following week saying, hey, where are you at? It's like, well, I got someone to come in at 90 grand. Can you come close to it? And my broker told him, no, we're not giving you 90 grand.
Brutal.
We're not giving you 90 grand because we're willing to buy it as is. And he was just trying to negotiate back and forth. And my broker decided to jump up to 85-ish just because we didn't want to lose this deal. This is our chance. Then we signed for 85, 86 grand. As is, long story short, posted on Facebook and he had a buyer list and I showed a buyer that following week and he signed that day for 150.
For how much?
For 150.
150. Now, did you JV with your broker? Did he help you find the buyer or did you find the buyer?
So I JV with my broker. Okay. I told him, look, I'm willing to stick by you for this whole journey. If you can get me to walk on my own, you will be my main JV guy.
Okay.
Just help me understand this industry and just please just hold my hands. I want to put in the work, put in the hours, but I need you to hold my hands because I quit twice and I can't quit again. I just can't. I cannot afford to quit again. And it's like, cool. You have to put in the work.
And you signed a buyer for 150.
Yes. Sign a buyer for 150. My broker's like, if no one signed for 150, we put it on the market for 180 and I know it's going to sell. So, long story short, there was an agent that reached out to me saying, I have a potential client for you. And I was like, cool, I have a lockbox, go in it. And so he went in, but he was an agent, and I think we just gave him like 3%.
Because it was his buyer. He had a buyer.
Yeah, he has it, but the funny thing was, he actually gave his buyer my cell phone number, and his buyer called me directly.
Okay.
I want this right now. Send me an agreement. And at the time, I was like, should I just screw over this agent, and save about $6, $7, $8 and more in my pockets, or I could potentially give him that money and build a potential relationship, which my broker has been telling me, you're here for survival. Okay. Take less now. You're going to take more later. So at the time, I was like, I just, out of respect for the agent, just give your agent a call and tell your agent to call my broker.
Good. That was the right thing to do, by the way, Dewey.
Yeah. Well, I was too excited at the time, and I was like, maybe I should just have him sign with me. And, but I remember what my broker was telling me: don't do that, because you're in here for survival. And let's just try to do the right thing, because he believed in karma. I believe in karma. And yeah, so I just told him, just reach out to my broker. He will send you an agreement, sign it for $150, give us a non-refundable, and we can go on from there. And I think it took about like 30 something days to wrap everything up.
He did sign though?
Yeah, he did sign.
Yeah.
He did sign for $150.
How big of earnest money did you get?
$2,500.
Okay.
I know it's very small, but
I mean, I've seen, that's okay. Yeah. I mean, for the price point, that's not bad. Non-refundable. I try to get like more, I'd feel better at 5,000, you know what I mean? But okay. And then you had a 30-day close from roughly around then.
Yeah. 35 days. He went on vacation and just kicked it back because a couple more days. And then I finally closed on June 14th of 2023.
Yeah. A couple months ago from this recording. And then you split that with your broker. So what was your net in your pocket? I guess what was the gross? Because that's
I don't remember what the
70,000, 65, something like that. Well, yeah.
I took home $29,500. So I think we gave the agent maybe
the agent
something like that.
Yeah, so you made almost $30,000 on a JV, splitting the deal.
Yes.
On your first deal.
Yes, but I was chasing. I was happy for the first 48 hours after the.
Why only 48 hours?
I just got upset at myself that I quit twice, and if I would just kept on just sticking with this, and back in 2020, I would have, be in a better situation I am now. I mean, I was excited for first 48. I bought lunch for everyone in the office. Let's go. And then after the first 48, what's next?
Yeah.
What's next? The dopamine, where it went away.
Yeah.
It went away. Now I'm trying to like find it again, trying to figure out why I lost this dopamine. Just, it's funny.
Well, I've got some ideas around that if you want to hear them.
Please.
If you think about it, think about when you were a kid for Christmas, right? It's the build up for Christmas that's actually more special than Christmas morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what happens is we anticipate things, and the anticipation sometimes is a bigger high than actually doing the thing. I'll give you a great example. It's kind of, I don't know if this is a great example. It is for me, but I set this goal to make $1 million on one real estate deal, one transaction, $1 million. And I set this goal back when I first started. And then it took me like 10 years, so like every year I'd write this goal down. And it was this big thing in my mind. This was going to be like a special moment in my life. It was something I thought about, planned for, kept working towards. I do bigger deals, knowing that, one day maybe I'll hit this goal. And then I hit this goal, a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. And it was like, that's it. That wasn't nearly as cool as I thought it was going to be. It was just kind of like, it was almost a letdown that it didn't feel better. I like the day I closed on it and I get it. I'm like, what, why am I not excited? Why is this such a letdown? This was something I've been wanting to do for so long. Why is this not more than it is? And it really taught me a valuable lesson that, a lot of this is really in the journey. So we have to find the joy and the happiness of life in the journey. It's not the destination. And so, because what happens is instantly our minds want to think, what's next? Or that wasn't good enough, or it could have been better, right? And we try to downplay. It's just naturally what we do as humans because we're progressive people. Like we want to grow all the time. And so, that insatiable desire for what's next, if we're not careful, we can let that take away from the here and now. So like a way to look at this, it's kind of weird to say this and not many people really probably buy into this, but like when I'm going to get on the phone and I'm going to call, it's like, I don't know what's going to happen over the next 2 hours. I don't know if I'm going to get a deal or not get a deal or, the day. I don't know if I'm going to get a deal or not get a day. But here I am and I'm alive and I'm breathing and I get this opportunity. I live in a free country. I get to talk to people and I'm so grateful that I get to call people today and I'm going to have fun and hopefully I can have some interesting conversations. If someone screams at me and F-bombs me, then you know what? I got something to kind of laugh about. I'm going to enjoy right now because right now is all I have. And if I don't enjoy right now, it's going to come and go. And where am I left? Right. And so I think it's really easy for us to get stuck in the someday, the thing that might come later as the end all be all. And what ends up happening for a lot of people is we just relive the same year 70 years in a row, and we don't actually get to experience the joy and gratitude of life and the privilege and the blessing it is to just have to be breathing and to be here and to share in this journey. You know what I mean? So anyway, I can relate to you because I feel the same way. I'm always trying to think about the next thing. And I'm getting older now. So I see my mortality, right? I'm 46 this year. And so I'm starting to like think about, well, I'm not going to be around forever. When I'm younger, I thought I'd be around forever because you don't think about that so much. And now I'm thinking like, man, how do I make the most out of right now? Because this right now is all I have. I don't know. What about tomorrow? I might not wake up tomorrow. I might slip and crack my head open in the shower. You know what I mean? Like there's no guarantees. So I don't want to have regrets about the here and now.
Yeah, I tend to overlook that. And I beat myself to that every day I'm on the phone. I could just tell my energy is not there and my attitude is not there because I'm upset about my first deal being almost 30 grand. I don't think it's greed. I think it's just the drive. I think that's the right word I'm trying to use. Drive.
Mm-hmm.
To trying to achieve whatever this crazy goal that I want to achieve. And it's just like every day all I'm looking at is that end goal. I'm not looking at the journey like you were saying. Just enjoy every second of it. So, I mean, my broker has been telling me that, but it's going to take me a little bit to finally accept that. Right now, I don't think I'm accepting it right now, but sooner or later, it's going to hit me.
Well, Dewey, you know what? Everybody can look in the rearview mirror. It's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback or an armchair quarterback, right? It's easy to do that. And I can tell you, I can look back over a lot of mistakes I've made and missed opportunities and have a lot of regret. But all of that happened over those past couple of years, all of that happened for a reason. And you needed to go through that for whatever reason. That's your journey. And it had to be that way. And that's what's so great about you is you did it. And just because you could have done more in that time doesn't mean that it didn't have to happen the way it did, exactly the way it did. And so now you get to learn from it and you get to live on. And now, hopefully now you have such a strong proof of concept that because now that it could be any one of these calls could be another $30,000 win. It could be this next one I'm about to pick up the phone and call because you saw it happen. Right. And so Now you get to live in a different way than you did before. And you get to have a whole new level of appreciation because you have experience now in the way that you got to where you were to where you are today. And that's amazing. I mean, I'm just so happy for you. And honestly, I tell people that first deal, I don't care if it's $500. If you go through and you transact, that's the biggest win ever because you go through the process and you see it happen and you tell yourself it works. And that proof of concept is the foundation to being able to do more deals, consistent deals, 1-2 deals a month, then 5 deals a month, then build a business, then keep going in your real estate journey, right? So you've got the foundation now to build on. But I will tell you this, Dewey, I know a lot of people who get that first deal, get the proof of concept, hit more roadblocks, and still quit. Okay. So you're going to face that crossroad again. Trust me, because you have faced it before. It's going to come slap you in the face where you're like, dude, this is too much work. There's got to be something easier. I'm out. Every one of us faces that. So, you're going to have to still make that choice every day when it gets hard and you hit that wall again. What am I going to do? Am I going to pick up the phone again? Am I going to keep going or am I going to quit again? You get to make that choice again. Just because you did this doesn't mean that won't go away, right?
Yeah, and I have finally accepted the fact that there will be high and lows, So like, I don't want to sound like a sad person with low energy right now, but like right now I'm trying to like pick it back up, trying to find that energy again. And I know I'm going to run this into this phase again, this doubting phase down the road. But I'm glad I'm not going to lie, Jerry. The first 48, I was really excited. But ever since June, I went down. Mm-hmm. So now it's just like coming back up and it's hard.
Yeah.
I'm telling myself if I achieve more success, that means I will face more lows. That's just, I'm just starting to tell myself it's a part of the journey. And I just got to like know how to overcome this low. So I'm in that period right now, trying to overcome and trying to pick my head up and pick the phone up every single day.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have some ideas on how you can now reinvest some of your money to help you propel yourself forward in a much faster trajectory than you have been doing, right? Because honestly, personally cold calling is not the best use of your time. There are much more effective things you could be doing. In the beginning, it's fine because you don't have any resources, you don't have a team, you don't have a budget to do things. I get it. But you do now. If you're smart with that money, I would recommend reinvesting some of that back into the business in tools and resources that will allow you to go much faster and be much more effective in your next deal and in your next growth of your business. There are free methods to do marketing and find deals, like cold calling yourself, you're taking on all the time. That maybe you've got a little bit of skip tracing costs, and then, agent outreach is another way that's kind of free. And then when you have a little bit of budget, you want to transition into low cost. And one of the next steps in the low cost area is to hire a cold caller. So you're still going to need to get a list. If you go to PropWire, use my software, it's free. You can download an unlimited number of data without paying for a subscription or without paying for the data. You're still going to have to skip trace it. You can do that right on PropWire. It's very inexpensive, 10 cents a skip. So you got a little bit of cost there. That's very minimal though. And then to hire a good cold caller is going to cost you, 10, 12 bucks an hour. But they're now doing the 200 calls a day, not you. And then what they're doing is they're taking those warm leads and then you're talking to those. So now your time on the phone is talking to people that have raised their hand and said, yes, I'm interested in selling. You don't get the appointment doing cold calling. Let a cold caller, a virtual assistant, do the cold calling. You still set the appointment. You still vet the deal, right? You know enough to say, how much do you want? Okay, that sounds like a deal. Let's come do an appointment and take a look, right? You can do that. You don't have to have any negotiating skills whatsoever. And honestly, if you're around 50% of Zillow, roughly, then you're going to have a home run deal. So you don't even need to analyze anything. Just get them to give you a number. If that number is like the one you got before, then go on appointment and you'll do it. You'll get it, right? But you need to move now into learning not how to cold call. Let someone else do that. Anybody can do that. That's why it's not a good use of your time. That you're worth more than $12 an hour. So don't do $12 an hour work. Let someone else do $12 an hour work. You need to be doing $1,000 an hour work. And that means learning how to close on the phone, right? Getting good at negotiating. So that's your next move to learn, not cold calling. You got that down. Like, you don't need another second on the phones cold calling. You're worth way more than that. You've just proved it.
I didn't look at it like that, about me being worth $12 or doing $1,000 worth of work, where a cold call can come in and just pretty much make $250 and ask the same question I'm asking.
Yep. This is what I want you to do, Dewey. I want you to look in the mirror every day and say, is what I'm doing, whatever it is what I'm doing worth $1,000 an hour? And if the answer is no, I want you to then ask, who can I get to do this so that I can do $1,000 an hour stuff? Okay, that's going to force you to start thinking like a business owner, not like an employee. Because you're the business owner here, and you are worth $1,000 an hour. Because if you spent your time just closing and you closed one deal a week, and that deal every week made you, let's say, $10,000, and you did $40,000, I mean, let's do the math. If you did $40,000 in a month, divided by what? 4 40-hour weeks. So 160 hours. Well, that's $250 an hour. I mean, there's a start. See what I mean, though?
Yeah.
So I want to really encourage you to now move into the next phase. And when you move into that next phase, guess what your next phase is after that phase? You're no longer closing. You have an acquisitions manager on commission, and they're closing the deals. And then you have a disposition manager on your team, and they're closing the deals. You're going to no longer JV, and you're going to keep all the profit, because the reason why you're JVing is because you don't have confidence to go find your own buyer. But as soon as you have confidence to find your own buyer, you would have made $60,000 doing the exact same thing your broker did that you could have actually done, which is put it on Facebook. Now, he helped, I get it, and that's fine. And there's value there. But I'm just saying, at some point, you don't need your broker anymore. You don't need Jerry Norton anymore. You've got skill set now to where you own a team. The team's working for you. You keep all the profit.
Yes. Different way for me to look at it. You know, I need to start looking at it as a business owner, not just an employee. I think I'm just an employee right now. That's why I'm doing employee stuff. And
well, it's okay. You're new. It's a new thing. It's a journey. You know, you're learning how to do a business. And so don't beat yourself up anymore about this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. You're young. You got your whole life ahead of you, and you're on a path that's unique and different. You're going down the 1% route, which is to not get a degree, go work for a company, pay bills, survive to pay bills. That's not your plan, I don't think, to live to pay bills.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to live to pay bills. That's the rest of the world, though. That's everybody. They live to pay bills. I don't want my life to be about paying bills. I wasn't born on this earth to pay bills. Right. And neither were you. But you have a vision of that. Now it's time to live it out, which means you have to start to be a business. And that's going to be progressive. It doesn't happen overnight. You got a lot of things to learn. I did too. Trust me. When I started, I was very much like you, and making a lot of mistakes, doing everything myself, you know, grinding away, doing low level activities. It took me a while to grow into a business owner. Right. And I think I could have done it a whole lot faster had I valued mentorship, which I didn't in the beginning. When I started out like you, I didn't place a lot of value on good mentorship. So what I did is I thought I had to figure it all out and I had to learn it all. And so, you know, I hit my head along the way a lot more than I needed to. You're still going to hit your head along the way, but I got my head ran over by a semi truck rather than, you know, bumped it. So I'm encouraging you you can be on a fast track to do this business. You know, get some good mentorship. You want to be careful about local mentorship when they have a vested interest in your deals. in the sense that he may want you to stay low level so that you keep bringing him JV deals, right? So he might not, I'm not saying this is your broker at all. I'm just saying, be aware of this. A really good mentor will want you to replace them, not need them anymore. If I'm a good coach for you, my goal is that you don't need me anymore because you've now grown into the role that you can be your best self, right? So, if your broker's teaching you and coaching you and helping you close and being a good mentor in that regard, then stay with that. If he's telling you stay on the phones and cold call and bring me all your good leads and I'll go and close them and we'll split, and that's the end game, then I'd be leery of that. That shouldn't be your end game.
I think he's a good mentor enough for me to still hang around. But I told him eventually one day I want to have something of my own, and you should respect it because you have something of your own.
Yeah.
And your kids can look up to you. I don't have kids or anything, but I just told him, just an example. Like, I will fly away one day, and if you can help me to get to that level, and until then, we can shake hands on it. No, we didn't sign any papers or nothing between us. No, I told him that. To shake on it. Yeah, man, about it. And then, it's been cool ever since. I'm learning a lot.
It's just, Dewey, the one thing you have to realize about a wholesale business is it's actually a very simple process. Your original comment about how could it be this easy? So then what we do is we overcomplicate it because we're like, there's no way it's this easy. It's got to be more complicated than this. And it's really not. Finding sellers and finding buyers is not very complicated. We tend to overcomplicate it, but it's really not. It's work. There's no doubt about it. It's work, but it's not complicated. There's nothing here that you can't learn how to do very quickly. The skill in this industry is creating a business around it. That's your real skill set to learn, right? Because think about it. You can get cold callers to do the initial calls. You can hire a salesperson that's going to be way better than you ever will be. And they're going to close the deals and they're going to get paid a 10% to 15% commission. You can get another salesperson to do the dispo and build a cash buyer list and network. There's really good tools out there like Investor Lift, and other things. I teach all kinds of tactics on finding buyers. The paperwork's fairly simple. It's the same every time. There's a title company, right? The mechanics of wholesaling are very, very simple. The only part that's hard about it all is that we make it hard. It's not hard though. The hard part is just being consistent and doing it every single day. That's the hardest part. That's it. That's the only thing that's hard about it is being consistent and building a team. Because it takes leadership and it takes maybe some overhead, or maybe you gotta go through a couple salespeople before you find a good one, right? That's hard. That's the hard part. Building a business is the hard part. Wholesaling as a strategy, as a technique, the most simple thing you could imagine. There is nothing I've seen more simple than that. Right? So I think you need to stop telling yourself there's all these difficult parts of this. And, there's got to be somebody like my broker who's super advanced and skilled and maybe one day I can be at his level. No, not really. You could be at his level. You probably already are at his level. You're just lacking some confidence. Like, that's all.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Jerry. I might beat myself to the next couple of days, but thanks, Jerry.
Leave a comment and say, Dewey, you're a flipping genius. I mean, honestly, Dewey, a $30,000 take-home check for your first deal is phenomenal. And I'm so proud of you. And that's just amazing. Way to stick it out. Way to stick with it when it was hard. I'm just so proud of you for doing that.
Thanks, man. And I've been following you for a long time too. So if you ever get a chance to go back on old videos, I'm always in the comments section.
Awesome. Appreciate that.